To remember that, guys, our children are not robots. They're not ever going to sleep perfectly. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm doing the third part of the sleep training series. If you have not watched them yet, go ahead and check out my my YouTube channel, and I will attach it below and then up here the two videos that are connected to this one. This is the third one and the last one. In this video, what I'm doing is the top tips as well as the top tips for products or advice for the products that we use. We have a visitor today in our video. You want to say hi, Papa? Come here. Come. Say hi. Hello. Blippi. Can you say Blippi? Blippi?
No.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna find in this video, the top tips and the top advice or with the things that we use that really help the sleep train. Also, what you're gonna notice in this video is that I'm wearing different outfits, and it's because I filmed this video in like 2 days, different days. So you've already seen kind of what I was wearing in different parts of the video in the previous video. So please, sorry about that. Basically, I mean, I have a kid and sometimes it's really hard to film, and I had realized how long the video was, so I cut it and put it in 3 series. Okay, so for my first tip, guys, I wanted to get this video with this tip because with sleep training, you may have family that does not understand. They may not understand exactly what you're doing, family members. And one thing I noticed or I realized is that cultural differences, for example, my mom did not understand why I would let my son cry for a little bit. And she thought it was evil. She thought I was like not okay, and that she would always tell me, how she didn't like that. But, I had to give her a little bit of time and stick to my guns because I knew what I was doing. So yeah, I think definitely with time she got she understood, and then now she sees that he sleeps through the night, so she's like totally on board with it. But at first it was a little hard because I would question myself if I was doing the right thing by sleep training. But yeah, definitely understand and know that family members, especially old school parents, may not understand why you're sleep training, but definitely stick to your guns and just know that they can come around. They will come around. And even if they don't come around, it is your child. You raise your child the way that you want to, and definitely make sure you stand up for yourself and tell them, this is my child, in a nice way, of course. They already raised their children. It's time for you to raise yours. My second tip is about the room temperature. So the room temperature for your child should be between 68 degrees to 72 degrees. This is a very comfortable temperature for them. Anything lower is too cold and anything hotter is too hot. So definitely the camera that we have, the optics camera, it tells you the temperature of the room. So that's how I know what temperature our son's room is. My next tip, and I got this from taking care of babies, is that your child should be sleeping in the crib up to age 3. Age 3, guys, and that makes me happy because then I know that the crib that we invested in, he's gonna be using it for a long time. And once he's not in his crib, we can convert it to a toddler bed, which is great. So keep it at the crib state for up to age 3. Children before age 3 don't know that they're supposed to stay in bed. So if you tell them stay in their bed, they're not gonna listen. My other tip, guys, is to know what sleep regressions are. Sleep regressions and what it does to a child. Like, your child could be totally sleep trained and then have a sleep regression and they go backwards, and knowing how to stay with the sleep training and staying with the routine, that will help you get through the sleep regression. A great app that's available on iPhones and I believe Android is the Wonder Weeks. The Wonder Weeks app tells you when your child is having a sleep regression or when it's expected, so that's a great one. It also tells you about certain development leaps, like babies at certain ages, they go through huge growth spurts, and you might start noticing that they're just like acting very different or sleeping less or fighting you more on sleep. So knowing when they're going through a development leap will really like help you figure out like, oh wow, like yeah, I think they're going through a sleep regression. And or yeah, I know right now they're going through a development leap. They're going through a leap because you can totally tell. So the Wonder Weeks definitely helps you with that. My next tip is sleep training does not equal rigid routine. It could, but that's no fun. You know, I always say, and I've mentioned this before, is that sleep training, you're supposed to build it around a flexible routine or build a flexible routine around your child's sleep. Most of the time, yeah, you should be at home letting them sleep in their crib, but once in a while, dude, it's totally okay. Let them sleep in the stroller, let them sleep in the car seat. If you're out for a party or whatever, or you're out in an outing, like it's totally okay. Don't make it to the point where you have to be at home at this time, because I was like that at the beginning, guys, and I would literally have family over and I would be like, okay, I was looking at the clock, okay, it's been 2 hours, and I would literally take my child away from his aunt and stuff, and then like now I look back, my dude, I was doing the most, and I didn't. Now I'm just like, I was super annoying, super extra, and it was like not necessary. So yeah, have a flexible routine, stick with the sleep training that will help you get to that flexible routine, but don't be so rigid that it's just like not benefiting you. My next tip or just reminder is that sleep training is not evil, guys. It's not mean. Remember why you are sleep training. You're sleep training to get your child to sleep better, to sleep on their own, to be a little bit more independent, for you to sleep, for you to have your own time after a certain time to just rest, to relax, to get things done, like, and to have couples time or just your own time. Like, we all need that. My next tip is to remember one thing about crying. Remember that when your child is sleep training, they're not crying because they need you, they're crying because they don't know how to fall asleep on their own. Now, of course, this depends on age, but it's actually easier when your child is younger to sleep train them. The older they get, I think it's not that it's hard. I'm not experienced with having my son sleep training at an older age because I trained him at 4 months. So, but I do think that the older they get, maybe the harder it can be, or there's certain things that you have to do different. So again, do your research, taking care of babies, talk to a sleep consultant. They can definitely help you figure out what to do with your child. My next tip is to be on the same page with your partner. I know many moms that want to sleep train their babies, but either they're not ready, or they can't emotionally do it, or their husbands don't want to. Like, maybe you understand everything because you've done your research and you understand how sleep training works and everything, but your husband most likely hasn't. So from their perspective, they don't fully understand it the way you do. So make sure that before sleep training, you explain everything to them, maybe show them a little bit of research, show them notes or whatever, so they're on the same page and you guys can do it together. You have to be on the same page to sleep train. Last and final tip is to remember that, guys, our children are not robots. They're not ever gonna sleep perfectly. For me, what sleeping perfectly, I guess, would be that they fall asleep at this time exactly every single day, and they wake up at this time every single day, and they sleep through the night. That's not ever gonna happen. I mean, my child does go to sleep at about the same time, like around 7:30, wakes up around 6:30, 7:30 in the morning, so that's pretty much set. But guys, there's still days where he might fight me a little bit more, or where it's super smooth. Yeah, there's things always happening. When they're sick, you know, it's harder to put them down, and that's okay. So just remember that our children are not robots, and especially when they're younger, going through all those leap developments and going through those sleep regressions, you're gonna have hiccups in the way, and that's okay. Be consistent, and stick with it. That is key with sleep training. You have to be consistent, because they're not gonna build a routine. They're not gonna learn how to sleep on their own if you're not consistent. They learn from you, and definitely stick with it. Just know that, get into sleep training knowing that, okay, for the next week, 2 weeks, we're gonna stick with this. It's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be worth it. It's all about your mindset. So definitely make sure that you're in the right state of mind and that you are emotionally ready to sleep train. When we put him down drowsy, what we would do is we would shut the curtains, turn on the white noise machine, and give him a lovey. Let me show you guys quickly what his lovey looks like. This is a little monkey, and There's another myth about not wanting kids to have a lovey because they'll become dependent on it. That's not true. My son right now is sleeping in the other room. He doesn't have his lovey. It's just more for comfort, but he doesn't depend on it. He's okay if I give him a blanket or another thing. He's totally fine. So that's not true, but this definitely helps them when they're little and they're sleep training, because what they suggest, or our sleep consultant suggested, is having it smell like mom. So I remember rubbing it on my skin, or even rubbing a little bit of my milk on it, so it can like have that like comfort for him, and that I think really helped him. For the white noise machine, we use the Marpac brand. We have the dome, the white one, and I will link everything below. That's the one we use in his room. This is also Marpac, but this is like the rechargeable one that you can take with you. Let me turn it on really quick. And it goes up really loud. What this does, it just kind of shuts out all the noise, whether you're stepping, or there's a dishwasher, or you're washing dishes, or there's a car honking. It blocks out all that noise so your baby won't wake up as easily. Now the sleep sacks that we use, we have 3 that we use right now, and they're all dependent on the weather. So we have a very light, just cotton one. This is the Halo brand. This is great for like summer where it's really warm out. Now we have the second one, which is also from Halo, and this is the fleece one. It's like super worn, but yeah, this is a sleep one. I mean, this is a fleece one, which is like more of, it's a little cold outside, but not too warm. I mean, not too cold. And now this one is from, is it Gunapod or Gunapod? This is a way thicker one. This is like for cold winters. And I live in California, I live in the Bay Area. It never gets too cold, but for us, cold is like, you know, you need hella blanket. So anyways, this is the one that we use when it's cold. So we have 3, and we all alternate depending on how cold it is. One thing that I forgot to mention recording my video was about an infant camera, or what is it called? Yeah, a camera. So we use the infant optics, and we use this a lot at first when we sleep train him, just to make sure that he was okay, if he was up or not. I would wake up constantly just checking on him. And I will mention too that sleep training does not only apply if your son or daughter is sleeping in their own room. You can totally sleep train with your child if you guys are sharing the same bedroom. That's totally okay. Sleep training will still work, but you want to make sure that your child is not looking at you, or is not able to look at you, because then they're gonna want to stay up. So what I suggest is maybe getting like a room separator or something to separate you from your child so they don't see you. Also, if you are sleeping in the same bedroom as your child and you're sleep training, to definitely make sure that the room, the TV lights, all of that will keep your child up. So keeping that off and turning on the white noise machine. Maybe you guys can hang out in the living room while he falls asleep and go into the bedroom. And go into the bedroom once your child is sleeping. But definitely don't turn on the TV, and have something to separate your child from you, because or else they're just gonna be looking at you like that the whole time. All right, guys, and that's about it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this these series of videos. I really enjoyed it. It's a huge topic that I'm really obsessed about, sleep. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye. Can you say bye-bye? Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.